Again, Mid-Atlantic, the city of brotherly love, so they tell me. Philadelphia, PA, things are winding down, but before we leave, I did not want to miss out on this opportunity to speak with my new friend, Zaza. I'm going to let him explain the name thing, because
Yeah.
even though I just talked to him, I'm going to screw up his last name, which is actually his first name and not his last name. And we're going to get into that because that's how we do it here at the Digimarcon podcast. We go deep. We go deep. We uncover things.
It's the only way to be.
So Zaza, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been a good event. Uh, I like Digimarcon from the standpoint of like as a speaker, it's more intimate, so I get a chance to like connect a little bit more deeply with people.
Yeah.
There's flip side. Sometimes you want more traffic,
Yeah.
but more traffic doesn't always become deeper relationships.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. That's right.
Somebody might make a purchase, but if you connect with somebody more deeply,
Yeah.
it makes a purchase and becomes a emotional connection. They're more likely to bring you others.
That's right. That's
Right?
right. That's right. And that's something that I've already seen where, we've met a few people, we've had 45-minute long conversations. They're like, oh, I know exactly who to bring you into at our place. And I think there's maybe 5 other people for you to talk to. So when people get to know who you are and what and why you're doing what you're doing, there's a little bit more of an invested purpose in helping.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've been at some other events that are like big, right?
Yeah.
But then what happens is your booth, there's people there, and the people they might be the people that you really need to talk to, and the people you really need to talk to say, oh, they're busy, and they walk by, and then you don't even get to meet them.
That's right. Where you're like, I think that's the person I need to talk to.
Right.
But there's 5 people in front of you, like, hey, tell me more about this. Oh, great. This has nothing to do with what I do, but that was cool. See you later. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
God.
So it's like it's just pros and cons to both.
Pros and cons.
So all right. So let's deal with the name thing first.
Yes.
All right. So Zaza, you go by Zaza.
I go by Zaza. That's right.
But it's actually your last name.
It's actually my last name.
But everybody in your family goes by Zaza.
Yeah. Zaza or Zeze.
Or Zeze.
Yeah. That's the traditional Liberian spelling. So my family's from Liberia, West Africa, and for those who don't know, it's actually founded by Americans. And so my mom's side is descended from the freed American slaves who went back. So literally, my grandmother's name was Gladys Parker.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So she's from her family's from Virginia, which is really fun. And then my dad, they're the folks that were born under the Zorzor Mountains. And so there's a lot of Zazas and Zezes and Zorzors there. And so it's a really powerful name. So usually men go by Zaza or Zeze. So if you meet my dad, he goes by Zeze. My brother goes by Zaza. And typically it's fine unless we're in the same room. That's where it's like, hey Zaza, well,
So it's a very prevalent last name.
In that very specific, exactly, in that very specific community.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's probably, I don't know, 10,000 people. Yeah. It's not a ton.
I would think going to Starbucks would be hard. You're like Zaza.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So for the listeners, Zaza means something else for the Gen Z folks. So in the last couple of years, I've been going to Starbucks and being like, hey Zaza, and I get a little laugh. I'm like, what? So this happened a couple times, and I have a friend. Can you ask Sean why they're laughing at my name Zaza? She's like, Sean, why are you laughing at Zaza? God, is he slang? Zaza is slang for weed in our generation. So I've been going to Starbucks saying my name is Zaza. And
they think you're just trying to be funny.
Exactly, they think I'm just trying to be funny. So I'm like, no, this is actually my name.
Wow.
And it's my family name. It's been handed down to us for generations. But yeah, Zaza.
Wow. And so your actual first name is
Samoru.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you've got an awesome first name.
Yeah.
That never really gets used.
It's interesting. It gets used by basically my family to distinguish some elementary school teachers, but it doesn't really get used except in writing. And then when I write emails, because of the way it's spelled, it has S-U-M-O at the beginning. Sometimes people think I'm a Japanese woman, so I'll get on Zoom. They're like, "You're not who I was expecting," and I'm like, "Well, who are you expecting?" They're always without a doubt, Japanese woman.
Wow.
Sumo, maybe that's what it is, where people think. Yeah.
I mean, I can see the confusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. So you guys are here at Digimarcon,
That's right.
and you've been talking to people about a really cool project that you guys put together.
Yep.
And tell them a little bit about what we got going.
Yeah, so I'm one of the founders of Nickel Pass, and our vision is a world where everyone has access to quality, high quality music that can be paid. So you have to subscribe, but that means you see a paywall. And so when you want to read that piece of content that's really informative to you, just at the right moment when it's getting good, you get it. So we invented a product where you log into it and you never see those things again. You pay us, we pay our publishing partners. We typically sell it into businesses and sometimes universities. They're able to take advantage of rates and save up to 50% off of retail, depending on how many people they add to it.
Okay, gotcha. But what about me as an individual?
So we just launched a program where individuals can sign up as long as you're using your work email. So our relationships with media companies is we're trying to get companies to either pay for or subsidize news access for a couple of reasons. A lot of us who founded the company, we come from media. Some of us didn't. So my co-founder, she's based in San Francisco. She came from banking. But I think what we can all agree on is when you need news in a business context, it needs to be real and trustworthy and factual. And when you get your company involved, there's a certain level of news that you're going to subscribe to, real news from pages.
Gotcha. And you and I talked a little bit about there's a kind of a personal connection to this for you. You've had relationships, connections with people who have risked themselves personally in order to make sure that people were informed about real things that were going on that they needed to know about, and corruptions and like deep things that were legit real at their own personal risk.
Yes.
And then you've also worked in a world where the news media you were involved with to survive had to focus on clickbait.
Yep.
Right. So you were telling me that, like, I don't want to be part of the clickbait. I want to respect the sacrifices what people who really want to inform us are doing, and try to make that more accessible to people. It's kind of like what I took away from it.
Yeah, no, that's right. The way I think about the mission of the company is really to support the people that, as we call it, do the homework for the rest of us. These are the folks that are going deep on the topics, they're asking the right questions, and they're trying to deliver it to us in a really easy to understand way. And I saw that both professionally and personally, as you mentioned. On the professional side, I got to lead the international team at Huffington Post, which was really an amazing experience because you really got to see what American media means in other places, and it means democracy. So when you go to places and they're like, look, this platform is really important for us because we're able to speak truth to our government. We take it for granted here, but in other places it's very new. And I think that's something that I take with me. And on the personal side, my dad is a freelance journalist covering corruption in West Africa. So like, he actually was one of the folks that uncovered that the Liberian government was broke. And so that's not something that you want to be talking about publicly, but that's his purpose, and that's what he wants to do. And obviously, we're always worried about him, but he's like, no, don't worry, they can get it. So it's one of those things where when you see journalists up front, and you see what they have to go through, not just to do the work, but the ramifications that happen after they do the work. I think for me, I couldn't help but be inspired to try to find a way to support it, to help change the business model so that if you are working at a media company, you're not like, how do I get 1 million clicks? Because we're only getting supported by advertising. Well, you get 1 million clicks by writing the headline in a certain way where it's not necessarily. So I think that's one of the things we're looking to solve and trying to use technology to push that.
Yeah, all of that. I was like, when I first heard what you guys were doing, just with this, the financial part of it, like I can get access to the stuff, I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. But then when I heard the stories and everything behind it, like I was like, okay, now I'm intrigued. I want to be a part of this because this is a world changing, potentially to do that. So man, I appreciate that. How's your time at Digimarcon been?
Digimarcon's been amazing, actually. I think it's you never know what you're getting when you go to a conference for the first time. This is my first one, and I think when you come to a place and you immediately feel welcome and you get to be friends too, where people are like, oh, I'm going to keep in touch with this person for a while. You know, like
Right.
that's always a great sign of a conference that I think is attractive to other people. We'll definitely be coming back for sure and try to catch it in other cities, but it's been cool to see. Love that it's in Philadelphia. Always trying to give people an excuse to come and visit Philly. So.
All right. Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was told I should possibly go check out South Street for Halloween tonight.
Ooh. Oh wow, they really want you to go in. Yeah. Wow, they didn't even say Fishtown. They said South Street. Yeah. No, I mean that is definitely the right street when it comes to. They got a whole bunch of cool stores and. A lot of great things to pick up. There's also a couple of cool cheesesteak places down there.
Okay.
Ish Kebab is down there. So.
All right. Well, I may see if I'm bold and brave and go out and check it out. So, man, Zelda, I appreciate you being here, man.
Hey, appreciate that.
All right.
Appreciate you. Thank you for doing what you do.
You bet. All right, guys. We may have one more here, but if not, that's it possibly from here in Philadelphia. But that's okay. We've got another Digimarcon coming up in just a couple days. We'll be in Dallas, Texas. So we'll see you there.